Yo, what's up YouTube family? It's your boy Coozie back at you with another hot TikTok reaction video. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you be notified whenever I drop some new hot content. Don't be a weirdo, y'all. Hit the like button. It's free, I promise you. With that said, let's get right to the content.
Guys, what do you know about NASA's occult history? You guys ever heard of Jack Parsons? Jack Parsons is probably the most influential man in the history of the modern space program. He's the man who founded NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL. But Parsons wasn't just a rocket scientist. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley, who as a Thelemite, Parsons performed ritual magic, including banishing impure elements with pentagrams, invoking the power of the holy guardian angel, and offering daily adorations to the sun. It's kind of an interesting coincidence that NASA named their moon mission after the sun god Apollo, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. Parsons also conducted a series of magic rituals with Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard called the Babylon Working. This ritual was essentially designed to open up a portal and manifest the Whore of Babylon. If you guys were thinking the Whore of Babylon for Revelation, yeah, you're not wrong. And you may have also noticed that Parsons bears a striking resemblance to a certain Marvel character. He looks just like Tony Stark and his dad. Yeah, Iron Man and his father. But the connection doesn't end there. Jack Parsons' real name is actually Marvel Parsons, named after his father. His mother later changed his name to Jack after she found out Marvel's dad was a bit of a cheater, but she never changed it legally. So NASA, Satanism, and Marvel Comics. All this stuff really is connected, isn't it, guys? Hey guys, if you like this content, please share and follow for more. Love you guys.
This is absolutely no coincidence that he looks just like Tony Stark of a Marvel movie. If that don't make your mind wonder already, man, I don't know what will. This is definitely gonna be a good watch, y'all.
Born in 1914, Jack Parsons grew up with a passion for science and a fascination with the mysteries of the universe. His groundbreaking work in rocket propulsion earned him a place among the founding members of the renowned Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. But as Parsons delved deeper into the world of rocketry, he also became involved in something much darker: the occult. He became a devoted follower of famed occultist Aleister Crowley, and his involvement in esoteric rituals and practices brought him notoriety and controversy. Parsons' interest in the occult and his pursuit of a Babylon Working, a ritual intended to summon a divine feminine goddess, led him down a path of secrecy, intrigue, and danger. His unconventional lifestyle, including open relationships and unconventional practices, raised eyebrows and attracted attention. As Parsons' scientific career flourished, his personal life became increasingly complicated. Love triangles, betrayal, and accusations of espionage rocked his world. Some even claimed that Parsons' occult practices had a sinister influence on his life, leading to mysterious occurrences and tragic events. It seemed like his pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment came at a high price. Tragedy struck in 1952 when Parsons died under mysterious circumstances in a fiery explosion at his home laboratory, leaving behind a legacy that continues to captivate and mystify to this day.
Crazy.
So
it's not a coincidence that he's a disciple of Aleister Crowley and that they have a connection. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be very, very interesting, and it says he's into the occult, man. So y'all stay tuned for more.
Of NASA open a portal to hell. By 1939, Jack Parsons had become a member of Ordo Templis Orientis, Aleister Crowley's form of Satan worship known as Thelema. Parsons would eventually rent out a room to science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard. Together they embarked on a series of magic rituals and experiments. Parsons and L. Ron went out into the desert to a place where powerful magic lines crossed to open a portal to hell. This was the exact site of the now infamous Area 51. Is this a coincidence? I hardly think so. Is NASA deceiving the public? Like, comment, and subscribe to the Levels of Consciousness for more.
This is the story of the founder of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the founder of Scientology and a secret ritual that was performed in the desert one fateful night in 1946, where a portal was opened and spiritual entities, i.e. UFOs, came through, heralding the beginning of a new era of humanity. No, this is not science fiction. This is the true story of the infamous Babylon Working ritual, In this End Times Productions special report, we are going to show you just how dark our world really is. In the vast spectrum of 20th century occult practices, few have garnered as much attention and controversy as the Babylon working ritual. Orchestrated by the enigmatic figures of Jack Parsons, a brilliant rocket scientist and co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, and L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, this series of rituals sought to manifest the Thelemic goddess Babylon and usher in a new era of human consciousness. But what was the true nature of the Babylon working? And what does it tell us about the convergence of science, religion, and esoteric pursuits in the modern age? To fully grasp the significance of the Babylon working, one must first understand the Thelemic backdrop against which it was set. Aleister Crowley, a British occultist and mystic, founded the religious movement of Thelema in the early 20th century. Central to Thelemic cosmology is the figure of Babylon, a goddess figure embodying the liberating and transformative forces of the feminine divine. In Crowley's vision, Babylon would play a pivotal role in the forthcoming Aeon of Horus, a new era of human evolution and spiritual emancipation. Jack Parsons, an ardent follower of Crowley's teachings, believed himself to be a key agent in this coming transformation. While many knew Parsons for his groundbreaking work in rocketry, fewer were aware of his deep engagement with the occult. In early 1946, Parsons was joined by L. Ron Hubbard, an aspiring writer who would later achieve fame or infamy as the founder of Scientology. The two embarked on the Babylon working, a series of rituals designed to incarnate the spirit of Babylon into human form, ultimately aiming to birth the so-called Moonchild, a magical child heralding a new dawn for humanity.
You've looked into the satanic side of the occult, correct?
They practice satanic worship.
He said he was conceived out of a nightmare during some satanic cult ritual.
Drawing from a combination of Thelemic rites, Enochian magic, and their own innovations, Parsons and Hubbard conducted the ritual over several weeks. They believed their efforts bore fruit when Parsons met and became involved with an artist named Marjorie Cameron, whom he considered the earthly embodiment of Babylon.
There was an event that took place back in the late 40s known as the Babylon working ritual. Now, this was a ritual that was carried out by Jack Parsons, JPL. You know, people will even to this day say that JPL stands for Jack Parsons Laboratories, but on paper it's Jet Propulsion Laboratories. JPL is major. It's a historic, so much surrounding this, so much history here. Jack Parsons was not professionally trained, yet he was tapping into high technology and building rockets. How do you do that without any type of formal training? There were no rocket programs in America before Jack Parsons. This is paramount to understand. This guy was tapping into theosophy, Thelema, the religion of Aleister Crowley. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley, and he was working with L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology. Interestingly, not only did L. Ron Hubbard start Scientology, but he was a science fiction writer. The movie Battlefield Earth with John Travolta, well, that was written by L. Ron Hubbard. Interestingly also, John Travolta is a Scientologist, right? Now, I mentioned this because this is a man who writes science fiction, yet he started a religion based on science fiction. There has to be something in there where he's getting these clues and these ideas. He's getting these from another realm.
From that point, they ripped a hole open into space-time. And from that point afterwards, you had, regardless of what Parsons actually successfully completed during that with the Whore of Babylon and different things. After that, you had the Roswell incident, you had the Kenneth Arnold sightings, you had in '53 there was the swarm of UFOs that flew over the White House. And so there's this unleashing of supernatural activity that took place after that ritual was performed.
Babylon working was successful according to Jack Parsons. Matter of fact, Parsons said in his Antichrist Manifesto that they were successful and that a child was conceived in that act, and that there was a spirit known as Hilarion. The Whore of Babylon was what they were trying to bring about. They believed what we believe, and that America was the final Babylon. Like, this was the revived Babylon. They believed it, and they were occultists. You know, we're Christians, and we believe it. There's evidence to back this up. But yes, let's backtrack just for a second. What happened was they opened up this portal. They created a rift, and entities began to come through. Not just this Whore of Babylon being birthed, but other entities, because people all over the place started having paranormal encounters, and they began to report this to law enforcement, report this to the FBI, report this to whatever agency they can get in touch with. And so the federal agencies said, we've got to come up with an answer for this. You know, we were not prepared for any of this. There's UFO activity. There's talk of entities and demons and winged creatures and just all kinds of weird, just paranormal demonic activity following this ritual that Jack Parsons said finally worked. They did the ritual for a couple years. It finally worked, finally stuck. And that's what a scientist does. A scientist is going to work at something. He's going to work at the hypothesis until it's proven true or false.
Despite their apparent success, the partnership between Parsons and Hubbard soon soured, with Hubbard absconding with a boat and funds they had invested together. Parsons would face further professional and personal setbacks before his untimely death in a laboratory explosion in 1952. The ritual also underscores the blurred boundaries between science, religion, and magic in the mid-20th century. Both Parsons and Hubbard, each influential in their respective fields, were deeply enmeshed in occult practices, reflecting a broader societal fascination with the unknown.
It's delinquency. It's satanic.
Some kind of ritual, satanic in nature, I don't know.
Satanic ritual?
Oh, all the time.
Just as Parsons and Hubbard sought to channel otherworldly energies through their ritual, society at large became captivated by the notion of otherworldly visitors. Aleister Crowley, the foundational figure of Thelema and a significant influence on Parsons, once sketched a being he contacted during an earlier ritual named Lamb. The visage of Lamb bears an uncanny resemblance to modern depictions of grey aliens, with its oversized cranium and piercing almond-shaped eyes. Could magical rituals, like those of Crowley and later Parsons, serve as a bridge between dimensions or realities, possibly connecting to extraterrestrial realms?
Government testing, paranormal activity, interdimensional communications, you name it.
Perhaps Tabitha's summoning them to kill us all.
Alien invasion?
As we stand at the crossroads of science and spirit, perhaps we'll find that magic and mystery are, in fact, the very fabric of the cosmos. This is especially true for biblical theology. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, sums it up nicely. Quote, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This is exactly what L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons were invoking that fateful night in the desert. I want to thank you for watching this video, and until next time, God bless you all.
And not only does it say against the rulers in high places and powers in high places, it says the princes and the governments of earth. Not word for word verbatim, but you read, look for yourself. What I got out of that is these occult people, these people that was practicing occult, got these designs and these plans to shoot up in these rockets from the occult, from demons, man, from other realms, man, to bust that firmament, because everybody who knows we live in a firmament, man. We are covered by a firmament, you can't leave. So they was planning to go up and bust that firmament, and the waters above would have drowned all of us, unalived all of us, and they knew it. And they probably were told that they would be spared too along, they would probably be special and spared, but they wouldn't. They would have been unalive along with us all, man. Like I say, don't fall for the boo-boo, man. Lack of perception breeds deception. You have to question everything, man. They saying the rockets would not, NASA would not be, it wouldn't be what it is without this occult and the rituals and stuff, man. Obviously, right? That's what I get out of it. Let me know what you get out of it down below in the comment section.
Surrounding the Apollo 11 moon landing are theories that suggest a hidden agenda aimed at uncovering alien technology. or evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. The choice of the Sea of Tranquility for the landing, aligned with Orion's belt, hints at possible connections to ancient Egyptian stellar beliefs, adding layers of mystery to the mission. The Apollo missions, particularly Apollo 11, are shrouded in rituals and symbols linked to ancient Egyptian beliefs. The involvement of prominent figures like Buzz Aldrin, a high-ranking Freemason, in rituals reminiscent of offerings to Osiris, the Egyptian god, suggests a deeper, perhaps otherworldly connection. The association of NASA's founding figures with secret societies such as the Freemasons and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn raises questions about the influence of ancient beliefs and rituals on the space program's objectives. This connection to esoteric traditions suggests an agenda that transcends mere scientific exploration. Speculation about NASA's knowledge of alien life forms and ancient ruins on the Moon and Mars is rampant. Images from probes and missions hint at artificial structures, though interpretations vary. Could these be remnants of past extraterrestrial visitations, or merely tricks of light and shadow? Werner von Braun, a former Nazi SS officer and a pioneering force in space exploration, harbored a lifelong fascination with the cosmos, influenced by science fiction and ancient mythology. His contributions laid the groundwork for space travel, intertwining scientific innovation with mythic aspirations. As we stand on the threshold of new discoveries, the line between reality and myth remains blurred, challenging our understanding of the cosmos and our place within it.
But Jack Parsons...
Now, does it make sense that all of the stuff that they talk about with NASA, all these missions and these special assignments, they all have European names, not European names, but Egyptian names or Greek god names and stuff, man, like the Apollo 11, and the rockets are named after them too. Like, it's making sense. They've been putting it in front of our faces this whole time. And then they said about Buzz Aldrin allegedly being a high-ranking Freemason, man. Come on, man. No wonder he was laughing at everybody when they kept talking about going to the moon, landing on the moon. And he was like, what? You know, his face expression basically like, what, you idiots? Y'all really believe this? He was like laughing like, come on, man. Like, it's in one of my later videos. But y'all, you want to see more about that NASA stuff, man? I have a video in my catalog called This Is NASA. It's one of my older videos, man. One of the first videos I made. Believe me, you'll like it, man. Y'all go check it out. This is crazy, man. It's like I say, the world is a stage, man. And we just the audience.
Was possessed with extraordinary ideas that sought far loftier heights than mere space rocket designs. Parsons was fascinated by the occult, and in 1941 he was to join the Pasadena chapter of Ordo Templi Orientis, Aleister Crowley's secret society. Not long after, Parsons took over the Agape Lodge himself. Observing Parsons' natural aptitude for ritual sex magic, called Thelema, the membership saw him as a potential successor to the great beast Aleister Crowley himself, whom Parsons addressed as Most Beloved Father.
Blasphemous.
Born on October 12, 1875 in Warwickshire, England, Aleister Crowley was an English occultist, ceremonial magician, poet, painter, novelist, and mountaineer. He was responsible for founding the religion and philosophy of sexual magic, Thelema, in which role he identified himself as the prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the Aeon of Horus in the early 20th century. In 1898, he joined the esoteric Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was trained in ceremonial magic. Like many of that era, Crowley was something of a crusading militant intellectual, determined to break down the conventions of accepted social morality. Later he traveled to Mexico and then India to study Hindu and Buddhist practices. In 1904 he married Rose Edith Kelly, and they honeymooned in Cairo, Egypt. In the Great Pyramid, Crowley conducted an occult ritual intending to access supernatural powers. The black magic ritual held in the Great Pyramid marked an unexpected turning point in Crowley's life. The following day he recounted, "Rose got into a strange state of mind. I had never seen anything like it before. She kept on repeating, dreamily yet intensely, 'They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you.'" When Crowley asked Rose who was waiting, she kept repeating that it was Horus, an Egyptian god. Rose knew nothing of magic and even less of Egyptology, making it highly unlikely that she was receiving a message from the gods. But to test what Rose was saying, he took her to the Cairo Museum. And although Rose had never visited the museum before, she rushed through the rooms filled with ancient artifacts, until suddenly she stopped dead before case number 666. "There he is," she insisted. Within the case was the image of the god she claimed to have seen in her vision. The god Horus.
Hold up, now how many of you believe that this guy, he was led by her, but that what they thought was an Egyptian god was really a fallen angel or a demon? Like, it's obvious, man, because these people believed in this stuff, thought they was getting magic, but they at the end of the day, they couldn't save themselves if they had so much magical powers, man. He died. He died, and he said at his last days, allegedly, was, no, what have I done? Something that is so wrong. Like, you know, basically he regretted what he done because it was probably hellhounds coming to get him, to drag him to hell, man, or demons coming to get him. I mean, let me know what you think about that, man. That's crazy to me.
That's the real father of the space age. Okay, now this guy, who was at Cal Poly Tech, right? This guy, Jack Parsons, was openly a devil worshiper. He developed the fuel that enabled us to penetrate the stratosphere. Satellites could not have come about without this guy. In his diary that he himself wrote, he had a dream. This is 1948. He had a dream where he saw somebody that he calls Belial Dajjal. And he tells him, "You are helping me." Okay.
That name, Dajjal or Dajjal, that sounds like an ancient demon, man, or like real talk, an ancient demon or some type of jinn or something, which is aka to me, it's a demon. I mean, let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. You know, like I always say, don't fall for the boo.
People that are recognized as the father of rocketry, they basically created the calculations to get us into space, to get us out into space. And one of these people is Jack Parsons, probably the most effective. Werner von Braun is one as well, but he actually gave a lot of credit to Parsons and said Parsons figured all of this out. And how did Parsons figure this out? Well, he had a really interesting way. He lived in the early 20th century and he was working on rocket technology, but he also was a friend of L. Ron Hubbard, who started Scientology, and Aleister Crowley, and he had this crazy life, and he lived in Los Angeles, and he would do rituals in the desert, and he thought that these kinds of things would help him basically download this rocket technology. And it's weird, but as weird is Konstantin Tchaikovsky on the Russian side, who didn't have the same belief system as Parsons, but believed that he was in contact with angelic presences who would also allow him to, you know, create this rocket technology. So that's what I'm talking about, is like the people who are the most valuable to this program are the people that are doing this stuff that most people would have discounted. When you scratch the surface of the UAP, UFO topic, and you look at the people who are the most successful at, you know, moving the needle, you're going to find that their lives are imbued with this kind of mystical practice.
All right, so just so for TikTok, not touching my phone right now. This is not an unsafe practice. This is plenty safe. I will not touch my phone, and I have my seatbelt on. I'm just talking like I would if there was a passenger in the car. So I wanted to talk about Aleister Crowley since I'm driving and I have a minute. Aleister Crowley, I believe what they did was they took these people and their ideas, because back in the day, Aleister Crowley actually started a religion, okay? The problem with his religion was it never went anywhere. This religion didn't do anything. Nobody bought into it at that time. But I do believe that because he became friends, allegedly, with Jack Parsons, who worked for the United States government in rocket engineering. So Wernher von Braun also working on the rocket. Wernher von Braun, who was a Nazi scientist, Nazi rocket engineer that got taken over during Operation Paperclip because the United States knew that they needed the intelligent minds of these German scientists. And they didn't want to put them in jail. They wanted to use them for things. So they brought them over, right? These guys are SS Nazis. And they used them to develop all these things. Now, we got a guy named Wernher von Braun, who supposedly, allegedly, developed the rocket, okay? We give him, like, almost all the credit for the rocket that we still use today. Same technology. And on his gravestone, he quotes Psalm 191, which refers to the firmament. So for a guy that built the rocket and believes that rockets are, you know, flying around all over the galaxy, it's weird that he would put the firmament quote on his gravestone. What else is weird is that Jack Parsons, who also is another shady character, he worked for the United States. Same situation in this rocket situation. Now, L. Ron Hubbard, who founded Scientology, gets thrown into the mix of these other two knuckleheads. So now we got these three guys, right? We got a guy that works for the American government. We got this guy, Aleister Crowley, who was born in the 1800s, you know. In the early 1900s, he was like 20 years old. He started getting involved in all these different groups. He joined a coven. He got kicked out, allegedly, because he was just a wild child. He joined all these occult groups, all these Masonic groups, and he kept getting kicked out. So it's claimed that he became a 33-degree Mason, but I don't know how true that is because I don't know what clubs he was in, like what groups he belonged to. I think he was just making up groups and stuff at this point, like, because nobody else would have them. But it's weird that he invented this religion, and you can look it up. It's called Thelema, and this religion is based on the Hindu beliefs that we live in a cycle. The cycle is called the Yuga cycle. We live in these Yuga cycles that they last certain amounts of time, and as you go through each Yuga cycle, basically a higher percent of the population becomes more connected with God, or a lower percent, depending on where you are in the cycle. And he based that Thelema religion off of this, it seems like, and off of some other beliefs, off of, you know, a lot of the old Greek gods and goddesses and all those beliefs. So he worshipped, you know, those gods. He believed that he was here to send us through a new era spiritually by worshiping these gods. He got really into sex magic because he believed that during sex there is an energy, right? Because it's just extreme focus, there's nothing else going on. I mean, if you really think about it, it makes sense. There's an energy, and he believed if you could harness that energy during that release somehow, you could then use it in other scenarios. Now, is this true? Probably, because magic is real. The shit is real. They use it. They do all sorts of stuff with it. But anyway, that was his belief. So he got into all that. Now, again, I don't know how true him being a 33 is because of the negativity that got tossed around, you know, his whole life. Like, people like to bash him, people like to talk a lot of shit, but what's funny to me is that I believe that L. Ron Hubbard, the Scientologist guy, he probably got the idea for Scientology from Thelema, in my opinion. And it's just weird that it's all connected. The three of them are connected. Not to mention, now we have all this alien stuff happening. They're trying to normalize alien stuff. I believe aliens are fallen angels. They're demons, whatever you want to call them, all right? And I know that some people will argue with me, fallen angels and demons are different. Yeah, I get it. Demons are Nephilim spirits, all this and that, but it's all the same shit. Demons are demons to me, all right? Fallen angels, they're bad, you know? I don't worship them, that's all. We don't have to get into grave detail. I've read plenty of stuff too, I get it. I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about bad and evil. Worshipping bad and evil, okay? So we got normalization of aliens, which in my opinion are bad and evil, and they're acting like they're going to be coming here to save the day. And I think that there's a lot of confusion, and it's weird that these folks are tied in, right? It's also weird that you have CERN now over the years doing some creepy stuff. They are starting back up again with this solar activity that's happening. And I know there are a lot of naysayers that don't believe in solar activity or don't believe in anything, but listen, we live on a spiritual realm, we'll call it. We live in a spiritual realm, and there's all sorts of stuff we don't know about. And everything we got taught about already isn't true. So we double don't know. All right? That's how I'm looking at it. We double don't know. I just know that there was a lot of creepy stuff going on back then, and there's even more creepy stuff going on now. I think that maybe Aleister Crowley is make-believe. They placed him there so that they could then demonize him later to discredit all of this stuff that they're doing to us. That's what I think. If you agree with that, hit follow. I need to look into Jack Parsons more and L. Ron Hubbard, because, you know, I know that L. Ron Hubbard, there's plenty of videos of him being an actual person. I want to know why Jack Parsons, there's not much about this guy. And another thing, Aleister Crowley was suspected to be in the, working for the Secret Service. I don't know if he was in the Secret Service or if he was a spy or if he was just a narc for them or something, but it looked like he was British intelligence of some sort. And he had so many American intelligence ties, and he was deeply embedded in American politicians and American, occultists back then, and like all of the Freemasonry, which everyone was a Freemason back then. So he was deep in a lot of stuff, if he was real. They may have created him to be able to discredit everything that I'm talking about right now, which would be very clever to do. And that's also why they made up a ton of things. They just made up everything. Everything is horse. And that's why when you start looking into the finer details of things, they just don't make any sense at all.
What y'all think about that? Think about what else to say.
But yeah. But like always, this is for your entertainment. I love everybody. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome weekend. And I'll see you all later. And I'm going to hit that button when I come to a complete stop, like I said. Okay? So, I was safe.
In 1950... Y'all, don't forget, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything that you hear or see in these videos. Don't believe anything that I say in these videos. Always use your own discernment. Always do your own research. With that said, y'all, this is part one of this video. I'm going to do 2 parts. It's your boy DONCOOZIE. I'm out. I hope y'all doing good, having a good evening, good night, good morning, or grand rising, whichever one you prefer to say, man. It's your boy DONCOOZIE. I'm out. Holla. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Coozie. I'm back at you with part 2 of that video. Let's get it. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
An explosion destroyed the bottom floor of a house, and along with it, one of the world's top explosives and rocket fuel experts. He was Jack Parsons, better known as a co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but also known for an unusual personal lifestyle that meant his death was certain to be cloaked in conspiracy theories. The mystical death of Jack Parsons is today on the Skeptoid Podcast.
He continues. So does the puzzle of his death. On June 17, 1952, at 5:08 in the evening, a powerful explosion shook tranquil Pasadena, California, and so ended the life of 38-year-old Jack Parsons. In life, Parsons was an enigma. His death reads like a Pulp Fiction mystery.
Was it an accident? Was it suicide? Was it murder? Was it a strange occult ritual gone wrong? Each world of Parsons that Parsons inhabited has its own ending. The occult world has him summoning up a demon. Perhaps his rocketry world has him perhaps making an accident from playing so fast and loose with his chemicals. His Los Angeles world has him being murdered in a kind of a film noir manner.
The only way to unravel the mystery of his death is by finding a path through the labyrinth of his life.
You know, they say he said on his grave site, it said something about, it had a scripture, I can't remember verbatim what it was, but it's something about the firmament, man. And he was supposed to be this guy in the cult, so obviously he knew, and he was shooting rockets up, so obviously he knew that you could not leave Earth, man. And what's really going on. So basically he knew there was a true God up there, man. He knew, not up there, but you know, that was over everything, man. He was led astray. He fell for the boo-boo, man. Like I say, a lack of perception breeds what? Deception. Y'all spam that in the comment section, man. It was all a plot, a ploy, and a play on the people, man. And they followed this man, Aleister Crowley, to the grave. And not just to the grave, to hell.
When you look at the solar system, there's 9 planets, right? According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, the alleged rapist. They're all spinning in the same direction. You know the odds of that? 2 to the 9th power. 1 in 512. That's very rare. And by the way, do not, during this conversation, do not say it was God's will. Because if you use God, you have to read the Bible. And the Bible does not depict the earth as a spinning ball in a sea of nothing at all. So you can't have it both ways, guys. You can't have a firmament, 4 corners, God sits up and looks at us like grasshoppers. You can't have that and a spinning ball and nothing. Okay, listen, just please listen, because it's impossible. All right, next up on the solar system model, it's on a flat plane. Not just is the solar system a flat plane, the entire Milky Way galaxy is a flat plane. Want to talk about flat Earth? Oh, flat earthers, flat earthers. You're saying that after a big bang, even with the law of thermodynamics called entropy, which we'll get to in a second, somehow our galaxy ended up being a perfectly flat plane where all the planets spin in the same direction. The odds of that are less than winning the Mega Lotto every single day for thousands of years. Understand that. Now look at the moon. The moon is a perfect circle. The odds that happened after Big Bang and just chaos of atoms and particles and dust and rocks colliding is 0. The odds are literally 0. There's no force, there's no wind, there's no erosion, there's no water, there's no force acting upon that moon that would make it a perfect sphere. Next up, why are the craters all perfect spheres? The way asteroids hit, side angle, we've never witnessed an asteroid, okay? The odds that the spin of the moon is exactly the same speed as it rotates around the Earth, again, are 0. If it was 1/4 of 1 mile per hour different, it would slowly turn. The fact it doesn't, and there is 0 physics explanations with the model of gravity as we know it to explain why the moon, why its axis rotation is exactly matching it rotate around us so that we only see one side. Light being shined upon a sphere does not make the luminescence the same all the way across. You can do a test with a tennis ball and a flashlight. It's impossible. It can't happen. It only happens on two-dimensional objects. Seeing as you've only seen one side of the moon because of its miraculous rotation and its perfect circle, and the fact that the luminescence is the same across the whole thing, implies, I'm not stating this, it implies it's a two-dimensional object. A lot more than it's a spinning sphere out of the chaos of the Big Bang. Okay? The size and weight of the moon, according to science, it is impossible for it to be rotating around our Earth. The way the moon was created, according to mainstream science, is that an object the size of Mars hit our Earth and created the moon. That's nonsense. We would have rings like Saturn. Where's all the dust? Where's all the debris? Where's everything? That all just disappeared? That makes no sense at all. Next up, the sun is 400 times bigger and miraculously 400 times farther away than the moon. And like two machine-cut quarters, they line up perfectly to make an eclipse. The odds of that are 1 in trillions times 1 in trillions times 1 in trillions. It's not possible. That the perfect circles in this world, which can't happen on the moon given the existing model, line up perfectly with something 400 times larger from a third factor, which is your fixed position on an Earth, that they claim is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, the shadow of the eclipse is 70 miles wide. There is no way to make a shadow smaller than the object. Of course, there are people that say umbra, because like goats, they've been trained to say that, but they cannot recreate an umbra on Earth. They only believe it because they've been indoctrinated to believe it since the time of their birth by people who want to remove their connection to God. Okay, next up, evolution. So we have something called the Big Bang, which is the ultimate chaotic event. What banged? Who banged it? Why did it bang? How did everything come from a fixed point? Don't even try and tackle that because it makes zero sense. But here's something that you can easily think of, and it disproves everything about mainstream science. The law of entropy is that matter and energy naturally go from order to chaos. If you break a glass, even after 1 billion years, the broken shards will not reform into the glass, because objects have a tendency towards entropy, towards dissolving, towards breaking apart. Whether it's empires or a broken glass, the longer you wait, the more the broken shards become sand. They get ground down, they will never go the other direction. So how do we have a human eyeball from a Big Bang? The Big Bang happens and it creates a never-ending waterfall, cascade, domino effect of atoms smashing against each other in an empty darkness for eternity. So given the law of entropy, that things go from order to chaos, how on earth do we have the structure of a human eyeball in which we can see light and then recreate the light in our minds as images that represent our physical reality? It contradicts to a point of laughable mockery. Okay, now understand that if anyone says, well, sexual selection, Big Bear, you know, over long periods of time, I used to believe this stuff too. I believed all of it. I loved astronomy. I minored in evolution in college. I loved thinking about how the environment would interact with a human being, increase their odds of procreation or decrease their odds of procreation, and certain genes would pass. Nonsense. You're telling me that that force that created the human eyeball, which is unbelievably complicated, that through a long process of light hitting cells and then becoming rods and cones, if that's from sexual selection, why does our skin burn in the sun? Why do I need an umbrella right now so that my skin doesn't become red and cancerous? Well, Big Bear, it's because you're from the north. Why don't I have hair on my body? Why would I die outside in 30-degree weather without a structure around me? If my people came from Northern Europe, which they did for so long, how come I didn't evolve to not die in the snow and then die in the sun? If sexual selection actually had an impact on us, like they say it did, if we can evolve to have the complexity of a human eyeball out of a Big Bang, even though that goes against entropy, why on earth have we evolved to not have skin that's resistant to the one constant in our life at all times, which is the sun and then the winter? It doesn't make any sense, right? So what is the point of all of this? Is this supposed to give you despair and fear? No, it's removing it. We were created. That glass that was broken was a glass because someone made it. So someone made us to have eyes to see, ears to hear, a mouth to taste, hands to touch, a woman to love, a child to hold, right? That is love. And so what's the purpose of life? Serving that which gave us all of it. God. And they want you to think that we are on a spinning ball in an infinite black, and every atom that just smashes together randomly eventually became your parents who randomly fucked and are now silently watching NCIS in some long, weird, passive-aggressive game, and you're just here to randomly smash your genitals against someone. No way, guys. That's despair. That's the world where you need medication to get out of bed. That's the world where you can be easily tricked because you have nothing to be grateful for or nothing to live for. When you know that your eyes of your children were created, that means whoever created it loves you. So serve that who loves you, which is your creator. There is no way that moon just got this. The story is an endless serpent distracting you from God's love and making you sad and full of despair. And every time I point out one of these deceptions and people say, oh, I can't be with you on this one, man. It's too much stress. I'm removing the stress. You're made in love. Your soul matters. Your choices matter. God loves you. Why would God give you eyes that can see your wife holding a baby? That came out of chaos? No. Why would God make all these unbelievable nonsense things that everyone tries to explain away? None of the scientists have any cohesion whatsoever. You know, they just changed the time frame of the Big Bang by 1 billion years, and no one batted an eye because they are not walking with God. Have gratitude. When you have gratitude towards your Creator, and it's so simple. Just be thankful every day. Be thankful that this was created, that this isn't random results of genital smashing. And then when you're thankful, when you say, thank you, God, God says, no problem. God is everything, guys. This is created out of love and form. And when you see it, your life has more form and order and beauty and love. You can forgive. You can call out bullshit. You can get mad and not be scared that you're bubbling with rage. The purpose of your life is to have gratitude and purpose and serve God, that which made you. That science didn't give you eyes. Random over 1 billion years didn't give you ears. God did. And that's logic. Do you think logic and math explains how our solar system and galaxy is a straight flat plane? And even though we have the law of entropy, for some reason, the most complicated physical things that we can't imagine just came out of you're out of your mind. That is the illogic. Logic comes from a word, guys. Logos, logic. It's the same word, the word. God, form, natural law. It's all the same thing. You know what is real and what is not real. And when you know truth will set you free, work will set you free. Labor, truth, love, family, soil. That's what's real. Then you won't fall for these tricks.
Do not be distracted by the message. Y'all focus on the message. And y'all don't forget to like and share these videos. Man, I'm telling you, so they can get out to people who really need to hear the message. I'm telling you, man, this is very important that in these times and these days, these are dark days. We got darker days ahead of us before the light begins to shine a little bit bright.
So here we go. First off, let me show you how NASA is not lying. I think a lot of these institutions feed on the fact people don't know what words mean. The difference between photo, picture, and image. A photo is something that can only be taken with a photo camera. A picture is a broader term that can refer to paintings, photos, and drawings or people or objects. An image is even broader still, and it can refer to someone's idea as a general concept. Now that you know what words actually mean, look at every single thing NASA puts out. They call them all images because they're putting an image or an idea in your head, not a photograph. They never say the James Webb photographs. They say images, and they're not lying. It's really, really sneaky, but also not. If we don't know what words mean, that's on us. Okay.
Hearts along the way, yeah. Hoping that I'll never have to say it's just an illusion. Follow your emotions anywhere. Is it really magic in the air? Never let your feelings get you down. Open up your eyes and look.
Don't fall for the boo-boo man. Like I say, don't be deceived. Lack of precision breeds deception. Well, y'all, that's the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on your way out. Don't be a weirdo like I always say. And the ones that don't, I Appreciate y'all very, very much. And man, it's been a good one. I hope y'all learned a lot in this video, because I definitely learned something new that I didn't know about NASA and old Jack Parsons. Woo! I'm telling y'all, have a good evening and good night. It's your main man, Coozie. I'm out.